Hi, today I will be doing my statistical analysis presentation on professional soccer players versus collegiate soccer players. Soccer is a game of explosive actions, and the most important component of the game is being able to score goals. The most valuable position in the sport of soccer is the attacking position. With that in mind, attacking players spend a lot of time in training working on being able to not only create goal scoring opportunities, but to capitalize on goal scoring opportunities by actually shooting the ball into the goal past the goalkeeper. In training, when working on scoring goals, coaches will highly emphasize the need to hit the frame or force the goalie to make a save. By working on hitting the frame on every shot, your chances of scoring a goal increases. With that said, it is highly important that the higher percentage your shots hit the goal, the more likely you are to score goals. By being able to have a high percentage of shot on goal, your chances of also being scouted by a professional team increases because you are more likely to have more goals than most players. Now, a question I always wonder, which will be my question for this project is there a difference in shot on goal percentages between professional soccer players and collegiate soccer players? Now, in order to answer this, I first had to create a hypothesis. My null hypothesis is there is no difference in shot on goal percentages between professional soccer players and collegiate soccer players. My alternate hypothesis is there is a difference in shot on goal percentages between professional soccer players and collegiate soccer players. Now, in order to answer this question, I first had to take my two sets of data, which are right here. My professionals are to my left and my collegiate athletes are to my right. Is create a frequency table that will allow me to create a histogram table just to get a visual of where these numbers fall. And as you can see here, that my frequency table shows that uh, there are there is a good amount of players that have a shot on goal percentages between 67 and 73, which is very similar to the collegiate players to my right here, where their shot on goal percentages are between 64 and 77. As you can see, the numbers are very similar with 6 and 6 over here is professionals. And once as the numbers increase between 78 and 81, there's 5 of them. And over here between 74 and 101, these numbers are highly different, with the professional having more shot on goal percentages than the collegiate soccer players. In order to get a visual of it, I created a histogram. As you can see, my histogram, the graph on professional soccer players is skewed to my left, whereas the collegiate players, the graph is symmetrical, but still a little skewed to the right. In order to get a little bit more clarity, understanding of my analysis of my two sets of data, I had to do a statistical analysis of both sets of data. And as you can see here from my statistical analysis, the mean for professional soccer players was at 79.9, and for college players it was 71.05. So already I can see that there is a difference between professional soccer players and collegiate soccer players. From here I started looking more at the standard deviation, because that's what's going to help me create more clarity and test my hypothesis of whether or not there is or is not a difference between shot on goal percentages between professional soccer players and collegiate soccer players. But before that, I wanted just to go over a little bit more of my description analysis, just to give you guys some more clarity about my analysis. As you can see here, that mean standard error was at 2.04 and mean standard error is at 3.92. My variance is a lot higher with collegiate soccer players than it is for professional soccer players. Now from here, in order to really get an answer of whether there is a difference, I decided to use a two-sample t-test. What a two sample t-test it allows you to determine if the mean of two data sets are statistically different. It does this by using the mean and variance and a complex equation that produces a test statistics known as the t. The value for this test statistics is compared to the critical value of t. This shows you how the relationship between my two data sets occur under normal circumstances. And as you can see here, I did two different t-tests. The one to the left is a t-test that compares two means, which is a two-sample t-test. And to the right, I compared the means using a t-test assuming unequal variances, which, as you can see here, collegiate is 308.89 and professionals is 83.56. The results of my t-test are right here to my left for the two-sample t-test, and I will just talk a little bit about that. As you can see here, that my t-test of comparing two means is 1.95 with a t critical value of 2.09. My p-value is 0.05 here, so my p-value will need to be lower than 0.05 in order to reject the null hypothesis. And as you can see here, my critical value is 0.06. And so if I were to interpret this, my t-test value is 1.95 and the t-critical value is 2.99. This means that I've failed to reject the null hypothesis, and thus there is no difference between college and professional soccer players' shots on goal percentage. The p-value says whether or not the test statistics are significant, with the p-value of 0.06 being greater than the alpha value. We can state that the results of this study are not significant. But something to ponder here is that although I failed to reject the null hypothesis and statistics are not significant, there does seem to be a large difference between means, which means that there could be statistical significance if a larger group was used. And now over here on my t-test comparing two means, assuming that there are unequal variances, you can see here that although the t-statistics were slightly different, with 1.99 being my t-stat and my t-critical value being 2.04, I still got a p-value of 0.06. And now that I've failed to reject my null hypothesis, what I've come to learn here is that even though I failed to reject my null hypothesis because I really did believe that there is a difference, I started thinking a little bit more about how the differences between soccer players and collegiate soccer players are very minimal. And I usually tell people that the differences are very small. And as you can see here, they are very small. That the mean for shot on goal percentages for professional players is 79, and for the college players it's 71. So really, these small differences between college players and professional players tell me that a lot of times professional players are really only professional players because the coach that has signed them to a professional contract sees something in them that fits their system of play, or believes that they have the character to develop themselves into a high caliber professional player that could go on and play at a higher level. Uh, I can always tell my friends that are trying to break through into professional soccer in the collegiate ranks that differences are very small, but that those small differences make a huge difference. But at the same time, there is a little bit of luck when it comes to whether or not you get picked up, because, like I just mentioned, that a lot of times, certain professional coaches, for example, let's just say at the LA Galaxy, there's a player named there, Kenny Walker. He never plays, but if he were to go to a different team, maybe he plays a lot more because the coach there sees more value in him. Or, in the case of another friend I have who, was trying to break into the professional ranks, he could not find a team because no one saw any value in him in his position, or thought that he could fit into a certain system of play. And it wasn't until a couple years ago that he finally broke into a lower division team, because he found a coach that believed in him. So now he is a full-fledged professional. So again, the differences are very small, but those small differences can make a huge difference on whether or not you are a professional soccer player and just a regular collegiate soccer player. That said, thank you very much for taking the time and watching my stats presentation, and have a good day.